Might I ask you a question, just as representing the public here? Do you advocate, then, compulsory arbitration in this area?
I believe it ought to be given study, yes. I do believe that Congress ought to consider the question of setting up labor courts, where just as we go in to settle a dispute between the two of us on many other issues, and we abide by the outcome, I think we might at least try that and see if we couldn't cut out these strikes where the public is the innocent victim. That's what I do believe.
Congressman, don't you agree, really, that the teachers have been studied to death, and the firemen and the sanitation workers and the prison keepers and the federal employees have been studied? All we hear is one study after another. In the name of God, let us do something.
Well,
Give them collective bargaining.
That's what I'm suggesting. And by the way, let me ask you this. What was your opinion about the strike at Cape Canaveral and the Vandenberg Air Base? Did you approve of that strike?
I'll tell you, I have 4,000 men at the Cape, and they struck for 4 days one time, and with one of the generals down there, we got the collective bargaining table to work, and we settled it and got him back to work with a signed contract.
Yeah.
At collective
bargaining. In other words, you approved the strike at Cape Canaveral.
I approved it.
When we were in a life and death struggle to get these missiles.
Now, let's go back to your own history. When you were in the Congress, did you vote against Lend-Lease?
No, I voted for Lend-Lease on final passage.
You did?
Yes.
And what about the other measures that Roosevelt threw into the hopper at that time? Did you vote for them that time?
What for
the various other measures?
I voted for everything that was ever asked for by our Army, Navy, and Air Force.
For the defense of this country.
Yeah, definitely.
And still you come out and you would deny 8,300,000 people the right to collective bargaining.
Not to collective bargaining, but not the right to strike. Not the right to strike. Definitely.
But what is the use when you have a stubborn employer at the other side of the table if you don't have the weapon of strike?
The answer is to go to the public and get the benefit of public opinion back.
And
there's nothing stronger than the
what will public opinion do with a stubborn employer like the Pennsylvania Railroad Management?
We're talking about public employees now.
I'm talking about public and private employees. Yes. I'm talking about civil service workers at the federal level, the state level, the city level, and the county level. Public opinion is not moving Commissioner Kennedy with the New York City police, and he's still denying him the right to meet.
It moved the Congress to pass the Landrum-Griffin bill.
I know, but did it help the police department of New York City? Or did it help the 8,500,000 or 400,000 or 300,000?
Did what help them?
Public opinion helped the 8,300,000 8,300,000 civil service workers to get the right to collective bargaining.
Whose fault is that? Maybe they haven't been doing a good public relations job.
I don't know about that, but you're telling me that public opinion is the key to everything.
I think public opinion is the strongest force there is in the United States.
And all the workers have to do is take low wages, take bad working conditions, have no grievance machinery, and wait for public opinion.
I'm not suggesting that at all.
May I ask the reverse of my question to you, Mr. Quill?
Yes, sir.
Do you object to compulsory arbitration in these cases?
Of course.
And why?
Because it is the very same as the labor front that Hitler had in Germany. Compulsory arbitration, you're over a battle. No labor union have a chance with compulsory arbitration because the papers are against us. The press generally is against us. Sometimes the radio is against us. Despite the sympathy we may have from you and other commentators, the medium of the television is also against us.
That's a great public relations job you're doing, Mr. Quill.
You see, all these channels of getting your information across is in the hands of big business, is in the hands of the employers. We in the labor movement don't have a chance. We have to have a strong union, and you never get anything without fighting for it.
You'd say the American Arbitration Association was in the hands of big business?
The American Arbitration Association, as arbitrators, they're not compulsory.
No, they're not.
You're talking about compulsory arbitration. I am against compulsory arbitration.
Well, now then, Mr. Hartley, do you feel that we could get a climate in which these things could be taken care of without one pressure group being more important than another in a grievance setup?
Well, I agree that that's going to be a difficult problem because there are some leaders in the labor movement who are very aggressive, such as Mr. Quill, and I think he's done a pretty good job for his people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The congressman is very generous, and I wish you were on the side of labor instead of the side of big business. You could be most helpful.
Well, Mr. I'd rather have a question come because I just still take the position that these strikes, many of them are unnecessary, and that all of them should be outlawed, particularly when the innocent public is the real victim.
I agree with the congressman. That strikes are unnecessary. But when you have bullheaded management at the other side of the table, the workers have nothing else to do but hit the picket line, as Mr. Hartley did hit the picket line, as he showed here on television. I want to congratulate you for being on my side of the fence, even for only 10 minutes.
Well, no, I wasn't on your side for 10 minutes. Wait a minute. And let me say this, that I have sat in on many an arbitration and many a council between labor and management, particularly before 1942. And let me say this, that all the bullheadedness is not on the side of management.
Yeah, now you're saying. Of course, you probably have very wide experience. I have only dealt with managements in the transit field, and I have found them very bullheaded. And I have always found them that they were able to find money the day after the strike, but they could never find money the day before the strike. Where were they hiding it? Why couldn't they drag it out before the strike and avoid the strike and not inconvenience the public? I'm against strikes.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're coming around to my side.
I'm against strikes.
This has turned out to be a love match. First he accuses me of being on his side, and now I will admit that he's on my side.
I am impressed since I saw the congressman's picture on the picket line that he's a radical like myself.
Well, I must say, gentlemen, that I don't think we've had here any love feast. Whatever else it may have been, I myself have thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end. And to the ladies and gentlemen who are listening outside, I would like to say that we are very grateful for your kind support and to the nation's future, to this kind of programming. Many, many, many thousands of you have written in, and we are very grateful that you have. We would like to answer all your letters personally. So far, it has not been possible to do that, but even so, we are grateful, and this is the kind of thing that we'll be giving you in the weeks to come. So then, this is John McCaffrey saying good night after a little love feast.
Next week at the same time, another debate on a vital issue affecting the nation's future. Our subject, should medical care for the aged be linked to Social Security? In favor, Senator Hubert H. Humphrey, Democrat of Minnesota. Opposed, representing the views of the American Medical Association, Dr. Edward R. Annis. It is 1 week from tonight on The Nation's Future. Tomorrow night, the entire family will want to see the whimsical and fascinating story of Pippi Longstockings on the Shirley Temple Show in color. Pippi lives in a house with a horse, a monkey, and a chest full of gold, left by her father, who ran off to become a cannibal king. Don't miss this tale of the unpredictable Pippi on the Shirley Temple Show tomorrow night at 7, 6 Central Time on NBC. This is Bill Hanrahan saying good night.